Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakambitam Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishware Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, my wife tells me that we're up to text 11. If anybody thinks it's another text, let me know. So we're going to chant text 11, if you can repeat. Let's see it. Ataitad apyashaktosi. I'm hearing anyone else repeating. Yogam ashrita. Savakarma pala tyagam. Tata kuru yatatmavan. Unmute everyone.
Yeah, is it 11 or 12 today?
Shiva said 11.
We have to do 12, I think, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The second time this has happened.
I asked Balabi Gopi if he does 11. She said, sure.
See, so 8, 9 Ganpati covered, then Madhav Kanta 10, yesterday Ballav Gopi Mataji covered 11, I think today is 12.
Well, it's another verse I didn't look at it at all. I think I gotta, whoever gives class, if they can send me an email, because somehow or other, every time I'm doing a different verse, one that's already been done. Okay, text 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj. Why is everyone muted?
Shreyo hi jnana abhyasa.
Jnana dhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanam dhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanat karma pala tyagas. Yagachantir anantaram.
Yagachantir anantaram.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj. Jnanam vishishyate.
Jnanam vishishyate.
Jnanat karma pala tyagas.
Jnanat karma phalasyagas.
Yagachantir anantaram.
Yagachantir anantaram.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj.
Jnanam abhyasaj.
Dhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanam vishishyate.
Karma pala tyagas. Yagachantir anantaram. Chant.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat.
Jnana dhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanam vishishyate.
Dhyanat karma phala tyagas.
Jnana
त्यागच्छन्तिर अनन्तरम्
त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम् विज्ञानम् अभ्यासः
श्रेयो हि
श्रेयो हि
ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानम् अभ्यासः ज्ञानं ध्यानं विशिष्यते ज्ञानं विशिष्यते ध्यानकर्मफलत्यागास् ध्यानकर्मफलत्यागस् त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम् त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम्
You can go ahead.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभिज्ञश्च ज्ञानध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानकर्मफलत्यागस् त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
ज्ञाननादायनं विशिष्यते
ज्ञानध्यानं विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्
ज्ञानकर्मफलत्यागस्
त्यागश्चान्तिरनन्तरम्
त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात्
Shreyo
ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
ज्ञानज्ञानं वशिष्यते
ज्ञानध्यानं विशिष्यते
ज्ञानकर्मफलं त्यागस्
ज्ञानकर्मफलत्यागस्
त्यागच्छन्तिरनन्तरम्
त्यागच्छन्तेरनन्तरम्
Shreya Better He Certainly Jnanam Knowledge Abhyasat Then practice Jnanat Then knowledge Dhyanam Meditation
ज्ञान विशिष्यते is considered better.
From what I'm saying and then hearing you. Dhyanat Then meditation
And meditation.
Karma Palatyaga Renunciation of the results of furtive action
Renunciation of the results of action.
Yagat
Tyaga.
By such renunciation
By such renunciation.
Shanti
Shanti. Peace.
Anantaram
Anantaram.
Thereafter Translation If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Purport. As mentioned in the previous verse, there are two kinds of devotional service: the way of regulated principles and the way of full attachment and love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, it's as mentioned in the previous verses, because it's not the previous verse. the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service: the way of regulated principles and the way of full attachment in love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. So by knowledge, okay, so what is knowledge? Prabhupada says knowledge is to know the difference between matter and spirit and the control of both. So this knowledge, you can cultivate this knowledge, how I'm not this body, I'm the same person I was many years ago, but this body has changed completely many times. So I'm not this body. So how do this is cultivation of knowledge. And then by cultivating knowledge, maybe you can come to, well, now that I know I'm not this body, who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of life? This is the cultivation of knowledge. Now, when one engages in devotional service, it says knowledge and detachment, both of them are byproducts of engaging in devotional service. So for devotees, it's not that you have to, we should study. Actually, once Prabhupada was told by devotees who were preaching to the scholars, or maybe it wasn't to the scholars, but anyway, this one Sanskrit guy or something, he says, somehow we were criticized as being bookworms, because all we do is, it probably wasn't the scholars because they're bookworms, but because all we do is, we study. Now, studying these books is a really good thing, but we have to do what Krishna wants. That's the main thing. And in any spare time we can use for studying, but we may have other services that we have to do. So whatever we have to do, that's bhakti. You do the needful, Prabhupada said. So when Prabhupada was told that we were bookworms, and Prabhupada's response was, well, he is a worm in stool. So better to be a bookworm than a worm in stool. So, but this knowledge, we also want knowledge, but we don't want knowledge for any, well, at least we shouldn't want knowledge for some material reason to show how smart we are, to use this philosophy to beat people, or just to show off the devotees that I know so much. That shouldn't be our reasons. We should want this knowledge we can want it for several reasons. One is because then our mind becomes absorbed in Krishna, because this is transcendental knowledge. Also, we can use this knowledge for preaching Krishna consciousness and help others become Krishna conscious. So there should be some reason for learning this other than just to be a smart guy that can show off that he knows so much. So, but here they're talking about people who really aren't into Krishna consciousness. They can cultivate knowledge, and because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position, that I'm a spirit soul, I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. Although you don't usually just come to the position of I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. You can come to the position where I'm not matter, aham brahmasmi, I am spirit. But in order to really come to the understanding that you're an eternal servant of Krishna, you have to have this knowledge from either the Vedas or from a bona fide representative of Krishna, the spiritual master. Because otherwise you can't speculate and like, okay, I'm not this body, I'm not material. Oh, I must be a servant of God, who is blackish, bluish, the color of a rain cloud, and has curly black hair like crow feathers, and wears a peacock in his hair, wears yellow garments. This says no indication that I'm Krishna. This was given to me, and it's just probably the last time I'm going to be wearing it because it's too small, and I'm not losing any weight. So, but he wears yellow garments. Krishna does. We can also wear yellow garments. Doesn't make us Krishna. But nobody can speculate and come to that understanding of the absolute truth. You have to hear that from authorities. even to speculate the Lord in the heart. Jadharani was painting, and she was painting a picture of the Lord in the heart. And she asked Srila Prabhupada, is the Lord in the heart sitting or standing? It said he's seated in our heart. And Prabhupada said he's standing. Prabhupada said he's standing. And then Prabhupada said, now you saved yourself like thousands of years or hundreds of years of meditating to find that out on your own. But just by accepting authority, you can know in just a moment that he's standing in the heart. So we do receive this knowledge through the chain of disciplic succession. And we should try to understand knowledge, but we don't have to make any separate endeavor. The knowledge will come if we fully surrender to Krishna. The example of the Brahmin in South India who couldn't read, and his guru instructed him to read Bhagavad Gita every day. And he was trying to read and he was crying. And Lord Chaitanya was there, and the people, explained to Lord Chaitanya, he's trying to read and he can't read. They were laughing. So Lord Chaitanya asked him, and he's found out that he was instructed by his guru to read every day and he can't read. He says, so why are you crying? Because, okay, I can't do it. Why are you crying? And he said, because when I think of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of everything, Supreme Original Personality, he took the position of a chariot driver for his friend Arjuna, and that brings tears to my eyes. I mean, a chariot driver, it's kind of like a taxi driver. It's not a very great position, although in those days and before then, chariot drivers lots of times had very intimate relationships with the king, if they're the king's chariot driver. Even Daruka is Krishna's chariot driver. So that it is a pretty, like a chauffeur, more like a chauffeur, I guess. So he had the knowledge, and Lord Chaitanya said, you are the real knower of Bhagavad Gita. So you don't have to even know how to read to really understand Bhagavad Gita and have the real knowledge. So it comes just spontaneously from devotional service. So gradually knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. There are processes which make one understand that one himself, is the Supreme. And that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. Okay, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme. And that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. So if you're going to understand that you're the Supreme, you can do that just by speculating, because I'm not matter, I'm not this body, I'm spiritual, everything is spiritual, and I'm everything, so I'm God. You can come to something like that by your own speculation. But if you hear from authorities, bona fide authorities, you learn you're not God. You have the same quality as God. You're completely spiritual, but not the same quantity. So if one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literature for the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, which we shall find in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But in all cases, one should give up the result or fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. Now, of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, in this chapter, everything should be used for Krishna. That's the first thing. But in this last verse, which is the one I prepared for, he says how sometimes people can't because their family might be against them, their you know, the relatives may be against Krishna consciousness. So they have to, you know, follow their family, not so much in America, but more in India. People may feel a little obliged. So, but at least give your fruits to something else. Thinking of the Brahmin who traveled with this young boy in pilgrimage. They met, and the young boy just took care of him everywhere he went. And then the Brahmin, who came from a rich aristocratic family, said he was going to give his daughter in marriage to this Brahmin. And Brahmin said, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that in front of the deity. Shakshi Gopal, probably everybody knows the story. But he said, no, I will do that. My thing comes up, my internet connection isn't strong. Is anybody noticing anything wrong? There's a message comes up. So anyway, he said, no, I will do that. And he said, anyway, basically, then when it was time, he wanted to give his daughter to this poor Brahmin. His family objected. His son said, no, you can't do that. You'll not do that. Just tell them, I don't remember what I said, and I'll take care of the rest. And his wife said she will commit suicide if he does that. So he felt a lot of pressure that he can't do it. So he did what they said. And they said, but Shakshi Gopal was the witness. They said, well, bring Shakshi Gopal, then we'll believe it, you know. So then that's the whole story of Shakshi Gopal walking for, I don't know, 1,000 miles to bear witness. But the point I was making is that sometimes your family makes it difficult for you to do something that you know is the right thing to do. So when Prabhupada's talking in the previous verse, they may be against Krishna consciousness, don't want you to give it to the cult or whatever. And therefore give it to something else, but at least give it as something. That's what Krishna is saying. So here, their process make one understand. Okay. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literatures for the Brahmin Kshatriyas. But in all cases, one should give up the result or fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. So at anything that's good. Now, you can give it this. Can be pious activity. It is pious activity, but it can be transcendental activity. If you're doing it, for instance, you feel you can't give it up because of your family will become too disturbed. You can't give it to Krishna consciousness, to a temple. But Krishna wants you to give it up. So you give it up for Krishna to something else, because you know you're supposed to give it up, but you get all this pressure from family, so you have to give it. Or you don't even know about Krishna, but you know about God, and you want to do something, you want to give up the results, you want to give, what does God want you to do with your money? And he might be inspired to give it to some hospital or some food program, but he's doing it for God. So that is, he's not going to get the same result as someone who's just doing it so he can go to heaven. Because generally you perform pious activities, you go to heavenly planets, which is just a material thing. Even though you enjoy thousands of times better than you enjoy here, it's still just a material thing. And it's just a temporary thing, even though it may be for thousands of years, it's still temporary. So you may do the same activity. Someone may be giving to a hospital and another person giving to the hospital, and one is benefiting transcendentally and making spiritual progress because he's doing it because he feels motivated to do this to please God. And the other one is doing it just to show. even that, even showing it, get your name, like there's a Carnegie. Carnegie is a famous person. There's Carnegie Hall, there's Carnegie Mellon, the school. There's so many Carnegie things. He was a millionaire, so rich. He gave so much money away, but he puts his name on everything he gave away. And I was learning, I forget even this other person's name, but he was also a billionaire. And he was given so much away, and he did not, he gave it away under the stipulation that no one, he doesn't want anyone to know about this. And then later on, after he passed away, people found out. But that's the way we're supposed to give. That's the mode of goodness. Giving charity in the mode of goodness means you're not looking for anything in return. The mode of passion is, here, I want to give this, but make sure you read my name out loud, that I gave this, and put up a plaque or whatever. Just like one devotee who I knew had a plaque in the Toronto temple on the sing-a-song, really beautiful sing-a-song, that it was donated by such and such a person. And I was really pleased because I previously didn't think too much of that person, but I was so pleased that he donated that to the temple. And I talked to Bhakti Marg Swami, I think it was, I'm pretty sure Bhakti Marg Swami. And I told him that was wonderful that he donated that. He said, yes, he gave it under the condition we put a plaque stating that he donated it. It's kind of, you lose a lot of your spiritual credits when you attach stuff like that to things. So in the mode of goodness, you give it at the right time, charity at the right time to the right person, without any expectation of anything in return. I'm not saying people should donate anonymously. I think it's a good idea to see that so many different people are donating. So it inspires others to donate. But some people do donate anonymously. And we don't read their name out. And we do generally give them their plate of prasadam. But that's the proper way of giving. We shouldn't be doing it for recognition. Even though I think I would do it so my name is read, but that's not the best way to do it. Okay, now in summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of God at the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is direct. So devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method, and the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the super soul, and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the super soul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So I'm very happy Srila Prabhupada put this last sentence in there because it would have been very confusing for a lot of people. We're following the direct method. The goal is to become Krishna conscious. So there's two ways. Like if the goal is to touch your nose, you can go like this, or you can put your hand all around and there you go. You can do it like that. So there's two ways you can do it, maybe more. But one is the easiest direct way. So that's what we want to do. We don't want to waste time. We want to just get into Krishna consciousness, follow Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has only given us the direct method, Bhakti Yoga, or not the first part of always thinking of Krishna. We have to come to that, but at least the part where follow the regulated principles, and in that way you'll come to always be thinking of Krishna. So this here, let me read the translation again. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So we have meditation, we have renunciation of fruits of action, we have cultivation of knowledge. All we really have to do is just follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And that's hear and chant about Krishna, tell others about Krishna. That's really important. We don't just keep it to ourselves. This is a preaching mission, and we should preach, even though today they don't like to use the word preach. They like to use some other word, I don't know, discuss something, give a class, because preaching kind of looks down on others. You're preaching to them, try to lift them up. I mean, there's a lot of words today that people make a big deal out of, and years ago it was completely normal and you understood what was going on. Okay, now only talking to myself, only seeing myself. I have no idea if anybody can hear me. I'm assuming you can. But anyone have any questions? Can you unmute people? Can they unmute themselves?
Yeah. So Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Rasraj Das. I have one question, right? So here it says that better than meditation is renunciation of fruit of action. Okay. So is it saying that is like dhyana yoga, I mean karma yoga is better than dhyana yoga?
To me, it's difficult to understand the same question kind of came to myself too.
Right.
But that's why I was emphasizing Bhakti Yoga. We don't have to worry about renunciation or cultivation of knowledge. We just do what Prabhupada said. Because other places, I think it says that meditation is better.
Yeah. If you go with the yoga ladder, the karma yoga, then dhyana, then ashtanga comes, then bhakti. So, but somehow it is little reverse, right? It says that, okay, dhyana is, better than dhyana is karma.
I mean,
So
I would think meditating, you're not meditating, on your millions of dollars. You're supposed to be meditating on what's transcendental, transcendence. So if you're meditating on transcendence, why would you have possessions? You would think you would give them all up, if you're actually up to that point. Otherwise, what's the meditation? It's pretty meaningless, like meditating in a yoga studio. They do their exercise, then they sit down for 5 minutes with their eyes half closed, just relaxing, basically. They call it meditating. Meditating ultimately means meditating on Krishna or meditating on Super Soul. They're not meditating on Super Soul, they're meditating on nothing. Just relax, how good I feel, or maybe what I'm going to do next. So that type of meditation is useless. So I'm thinking somebody who's a yogi, who's meditating, has already renounced, his possessions. Of course, you can be attached to anything. Prabhupada says you can be a billionaire and not be attached, or you can be a pauper and attached to your penny. So, anybody could be attached. It could be attached to their danda, their Achman cup. There's a story about that. I mean, an ISKCON story about somebody being attached to their Achman cup. Anyway, I'll tell the story, but I'm not going to tell the people. But one person, he was attached to his Achman cup. He was really into Achman cups, and he had a lot of really nice Achman cups. As a matter of fact, he gave me the Achman cup that I use. But so someone else was giving a class because this person who was attached to his Achman cup was a sannyasi. And then he was apparently saying some things about householders and being attached and stuff. So then the householder gave a class and saying how, how a sannyasi, I don't think he said a sannyasi, but he was talking about this particular sannyasi saying that, you can be attached to even your Achman cup like that, trying to put down the sannyasi because apparently he may have been attached. I'm not saying he was attached. I'm not saying anyone was attached. I don't know. Krishna knows. But the householder was saying how, even you can even be attached to your Achman cup. So like, what's the difference? You're attached. So then right after the class, the sannyasi went and got his Achman cup and gave it to that householder devotee as a gift. Which, well, I can tell you who the sannyasi was because the sannyasi just recently passed away. He used to be Jagat Guru Swami, and then he became the Shringa Swami. But he was the householder, and he gave me the Achman cup I have, which is, I'll show it to you if you ever want to see it, right after the coronavirus. But so he was saying how much easier it is to give up an Achman. So much easier it is to give up an Achman cup than it is to give up your wife, your kids, and everything that goes with it. Children, as Prabhupada says in the 13th chapter, children, wife, home, and the rest. Children, wife, home, and the rest. It's a lot harder to give them up than to give up an Achman cup. So I don't understand it so much myself, because if you look at the progression, karma yoga generally comes first. But then there's this whole karma yoga thing that's not so clear. I think that karma yoga is the difference is
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
why the person is doing it. But please let me say something. Don't interrupt.
Hare Krishna.
Karma yoga is, why do you keep saying? Can you mute this, whoever that is? Karma yoga, if you can be doing it, most people, I guess, who practice karma yoga are doing good things so that they can go to heavenly planets and go and get the results of their karma. Karma yoga can be done for God. And if you're doing it for God, that's like Bhakti yoga. So they may seem to be very similar if the person is doing it for Krishna or God. Okay, now whoever was interrupting, if you want to say something, it's fine with me.
No, Prabhuji, I muted, but I don't know, some latency heard my voice. Prabhuji, about when we were discussing 2 days back about karma, and we had 2 days back we were discussing on the class about the karma and karma yoga, and we had some doubt about it. So I some material on that, and Prabhupada was mentioning that yoga, definitely you were mentioning in the class that yoga means definitely to connect with the Supreme. So he was mentioning karma means when we do the activities, let's say if we are working and we are doing the job and then we are getting a big house, we are getting some cars and all these stuffs we are doing, that is called karma. But when yoga is attached to it, it is something you are giving. So you are giving your result, and that too you are giving it to the Supreme. That's how he was mentioning that is called a karma yoga. But so it clearly says that it is to giving to the Krishna or Supreme, like their whatever the amount, I mean, how much ever renunciation or surrender they have. So they are giving their result.
It's not so simple. I'm telling you, it's not so simple. That's true what you're saying. It's not false, but there's other things that say other things. In other words, you can take all these things and put them together and try to understand it, but it's not so clear. It's not just a simple black and white. Because Prabhupada says karma yoga is bhakti yoga. And then other times it's not. It's the beginning of yoga. It's karma yoga is the first ring of the ladder. So it's just, it really is, I'd have to do more research, even though even after I've done a lot of it already, I still can't figure it out. Because we can't say just the things that we want to say. We have to take the whole thing, both things. Prabhupada says something, and then he says something that seems to be an apparent contradiction to what he previously said. It's an apparent contradiction. It's not a contradiction. We just don't quite understand it, how it fits in. But there are different things that he said about karma yoga. And I don't have those
Yes,
notes here
Prabhuji.
with me.
Also,
But I still
Prabhuji,
think what I said,
about karma yoga, I read that. Are you saying something?
you read what? You
Yes.
said you read what?
Yeah. So I was right. So karma yoga also, there are two types of karma yoga. One is sakama karma yoga, and the other one is niskama karma yoga. That's what I read. So sakama karma yoga is that, like, we are not completely giving our result to the Lord, right? Still we are thinking some our material benefit also. Some little portion we are giving to the Lord. That's called sakama karma yoga. And niskama is like, if someone is completely surrendered to Lord, and whatever the result he's completely giving to the Lord, that's called niskama karma yoga. That's what I read.
That makes
So
sense. There's
maybe
two kinds
yesterday,
of karma yoga. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yes. So yesterday Ganpati Govind Prabhu was saying, right, something,
So,
right? I
Prabhu,
mean, it's not necessarily to give the result to the Lord. Maybe it comes under sakama karma yoga, where we are still doing our duty, but we are not completely giving the result to the Lord. Still we are keeping something for our personal benefit or sense gratification, or whatever we can say. That's what I understood, but yeah, anyone can comment.
I mean, you can also say that, about bhakti. People do bhakti for some material thing. I mean, I'm not sure what Dhruva was doing, but he was following Narada Muni's instructions, chanting to see the Lord, but he wanted something material. There's one thing, of course, when you're doing bhakti for some material thing also, you still get purified. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he no longer wanted anything after he saw the Lord. I was looking for broken pieces of glass, and now I found a precious gem. So you do get purified when you're following bhakti, even if you want something material. And it says that even if you're you're full of desires, you have no desires, you want liberation, whatever you want, you should approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So you should approach him and ask him for whatever it is. So sometimes in devotees also want something material. And they're bhaktas. Not, of course, they're not pure, not pure devotees. Like Srila Prabhupada didn't want anything material. We're not on that platform. So we may want something material. And there's something, there's this disaster going on. You have some friend or relative who might be dying from this, we'd want him to live. Where Prabhupada's prayer is, my dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please let this person live. If you so desire to let them die, to have them die, then that's fine too. You know, but you don't say it in the negative, you say it in the positive. If you so desire. In other words, Krishna, if you want him to live, let him live. You know, but what it's doing, of course, if Krishna wants something, it's going to happen. If Krishna wants him to live, he's going to live. Like Prahlad Maharaj said, you know, I'm a soul surrendered unto you. If you want me to die, no one can save me. If you want me to live, no one can kill me. You know, so, and Krishna can do that with anyone. If he wants to save him, nobody can kill him. If he wants to kill him, nobody can save him. So we have we may want something material, but the pure devotee doesn't want anything material. Even that prayer. So what does that prayer do? He let us pray for him. He said, my dear Lord Krishna, you so desire, let Srila Prabhupada live. Now, what is that doing? All it's doing is taking the time to let Krishna know how you feel. Whatever you want. But by praying like that, it's showing that you want him to live. So that's all. We're not trying to influencing Krishna, whatever he wants, into what we want. But this is what we want. And whatever you want, if you desire it, please let it happen. If you look at the demigods, when Krishna is fighting like with, Hiranyakashipu, and then Hiranyakashipu gets away, and they're fearful like anything that he gets away. Prahlad wasn't afraid, ever. Fearless. Prabhupada's name, Abhay Charan, fearless, having taken shelter, the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the only way you can be fearless. Generally, not be afraid of anything. Because you know Krishna is taking care of you. Okay, I don't know any other questions or comments, or if I didn't answer it, whatever it was. No one else has any comments or questions?
I think so.
Well, I don't really have enough time to do another verse in purport. We can end class a little early, or yeah.
So which verse did you do today, Prabhu? 7.12, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. So I just want to remind, tomorrow we have the quiz.
Oh.
So quiz will be till for 12 words, Prabhu, 12.1 to 12, right?
Yeah, 12.1 to 12.12. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I'm going to disqualify myself from the quiz because I already know everything.
Yeah. Then you can become the quiz master tomorrow.
Oh, well, I can become the quiz master if you give me the questions.
Without answers, because you already know the answers.
I don't need the answers, right? Okay. Okay, so so we're going to give you an extra 9 minutes
To practice.
prepare for the test. Yeah. After tomorrow, do we know if we're going to be doing the questions on Saturday? Well, why don't we
Prabhu, I
get-
have to discuss with Anand Goringa Prabhu. I am going to discuss with him today.
But these are the devotees who are on this call now. How many of them would like to do the program also on Sunday night with the questions and 6 days of classes and Sunday, or 5 days of classes and Saturday, the questions, and no Sunday program? Because Sunday we have other programs. So what does everybody on here think?
They don't know about having
We do a class. We have a Sunday class every Sunday. So anybody have an opinion? Well, nobody
So
has
Sunday,
any opinions. You can
what you
talk
said,
to
Prabhu,
Ananda
Sunday
Guranga
will
and see
be-
what he- Well, we originally gonna
Actually,
do
let me explain a
Sunday
little bit.
for the quiz.
No, go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
I meant for the Saturday quizzes. And then for the Saturday quizzes. From the classes.
You'd rather Saturday. Okay. No, we were gonna do 7
Yeah.
days a week, 7 evenings, 7 o'clock Bhagavad Gita class and Sunday the quiz. But Sunday, there's other programs. Therefore, people were saying we should do a Saturday quiz and not do a Sunday Bhagavad Gita class. I want to know what everybody on here, Jill would rather Saturday have the quiz. You know, probably it's whatever reasons. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. We don't need to know. We just need to know what's best for you. So only one person is voting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, were we initially planning to have the quiz every Sunday or at the end of every chapter?
So, well, I was planning every Sunday. We could do the quiz at the end of every chapter. It might be easier for Ganapati Govind. I guess Ganapati Govind, do you have any say in this?
Yeah, if I mean, I am okay either way, Prabhu. Doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't matter so much. We can do either way. We can do at the end of every chapter. The only thing is, if we do it at the end of every chapter, we may have a lot of questions, and
Right.
1 hour may not be enough to complete the quiz in
It
time.
won't be. It definitely won't be.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can discuss that
So
too.
that is the only
Anybody
thing.
have You don't be afraid to say I'd rather not have a program on Sunday because we already have a program on Sunday. That's fine. I was wondering why nobody has an opinion except for Jill.
Prabhu, 5 days and 1 day quiz is good, bro. 5 days class and on Saturday quiz.
Okay, so far we got 2. And John Varani already said that, so that's 3. Okay, we got 3. Anybody have anything else?
I am fine too, Prabhuji. Saturday quiz.
Why are you saying that?
I'm okay if you do Saturday or Sunday. Anything is fine. But if you do on Saturday, then Sunday, maybe we can hear other classes too.
Okay, okay.
So Sunday 7 p.m. class, are we canceling that or what?
We're having it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, this
Ganapati.
Sunday we are going to have it. Yeah, we are going to have it tomorrow. That's correct.
Because we already decided that in the past, but we're just thinking.
Yeah, tomorrow
forward.
quiz is there. We are talking about the following Sunday now.
And the following Sundays, we're just doing on Saturday.
Okay.
So no one seems to want the Sunday, at least then no one's speaking about it. So maybe we should just do the Saturday quiz.
Okay. So tomorrow we will have the quiz. And then after that, every Saturday we will have the quiz, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you don't have to talk to Ananda Guranga.
No, but I still have to talk to Anand Gauranga Prabhu for the other thing, right?
I don't even know what the other thing is, so maybe.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And what about Sundays 7 p.m.? That is still going on?
Tomorrow,
That time,
yes. Tomorrow is a test, a quiz.
Okay. On chapter 12.
Yes.
Just through 12.
Not the whole chapter, up to 12.
Yeah, 12, 1 to 12, 12. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe we should do it from the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita.
Until 12th chapter.
Up to 12:12. No, it's just chapter 12. So, any other questions on this quiz and stuff? So we're gonna do Saturday. We're not, I mean, we are doing it tomorrow, so if you can, please get on tomorrow at 7, the quiz. Then after that, it'll be on Saturdays. Okay, Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada. There you go.